Well, fantastic response from you guys this week via my Instagram, Peta Credlin AO. You've put a lot of words in. You kept Kel dancing around doing the research. Here he is now. Let's bring him in. Kel Richards from Sydney. I love this one because I do use it a bit myself. It's from our viewer, Charles. Kel. The jig is up. What on earth does that mean?
Well, it comes from Elizabethan English, first recorded 1592. And one of the meanings it had in Elizabethan English was a trick or a cheat. And when that was discovered, the jig was up. Now, the main meaning of jig back in those days was actually to do with dancing. And I've wondered whether it started life as a metaphor. The person doing the tricking or cheating was sort of dancing around their victim. And then when it was discovered, the jig was up.
Aha. Well, this is one that gets under my skin as well. Wendy from Queensland, she doesn't like negotiate.
Wendy, the problem is the bad news, if you like. I've consulted all the major dictionaries and they all accept either negotiate, an SH sound, or negotiate with an S. Now, although they accept them and say both is correct, I've got a preference because quite a few words have come out of Latin into languages which are Germanic languages like English. When they've got a TI in the middle, the TI becomes an SH sound. Nation is a good example. Or the biblical character Pontius Pilate. There's TI in the middle of those words, and we say shh. So my personal preference is for negotiate, not negotiate. But I've got to say it's a preference, not what's correct or incorrect.
Malcolm Turnbull always had a weird one on the word, I would say resolution, but he would say resolution or something like that. Is that the same thing? No.
That's him getting it wrong. Sorry.
Careful, he'll hear that in New York. Goodness me. Let's have a look at another one. Bill from Bridgeman Downs, the word aggravate.
Aggravate came into English from classical Latin, aggravatus, meaning to make worse. And that's how we used to use it. You know, you've aggravated the situation, you've made the situation worse. But 50 or 60 years ago, people started using it to mean irritate. Oh, that bloke really aggravates me. Now, that's not what it means. It was a misuse. And I've been fighting this battle against it for years and years. It's sometimes even used to mean a fight these days, you know, a bit of aggro in the pub car park. And I've finally decided, after years of fighting this battle, the meaning irritate has come in alongside of make worse, so I've given up. Aggravate is changing its meaning. It's coming to mean irritate. It shouldn't. It's not what the Latin source word means, but we've lost that battle. Sorry.
Goodness me. What about a query that's come into me? Is it without further ado or without further adieu?
Adieu is French for farewell. Adieu, ADO, is a really old English word back from 1380, something like that, and it means fuss. So without further ado is without further fuss. It's why Shakespeare wrote a play called Much Ado About Nothing, much fuss about nothing. So ADO, adieu, that's the word.
This is an interesting one, two verses. I mean, the case of Roe versus Wade, that's how the Americans would read a legal citation. In Australia, and I often pull people up on this, the V isn't versus. If it's a criminal case, it's usually the Crown, you know, the state of Victoria, against Peta Credlin or Kel Richards. And if it's a civil action, it's not versus either. It's Credlin and Kel Richards. It's both of us joined in a civil action with and in the middle, against if it's criminal. But the word versus, we had a query here as well.
Oh, this one, now, versus came into English from Latin a long time ago, and it means against. But I think this one is on the cusp of change. I was alerted to this about 25 years ago by a school teacher from Perth. He said in a history class, his kids asked him about the Greeks versing the Persians or whatever, and he thought that was hilarious. And I thought, oh, look, that's a school kid howler, you know, that's the last we'll hear of it. And the kids will say to him, sir, who are we against next week, who are we versing next week? So it's... But I started thinking about it. A whole lot of Latin words have come into English and they've become normal English words. Now, I don't know if this is true or not. This is just Kel guessing. But I'm wondering if versus, the old Latin for against, is in the process of becoming a normal English word, and what I thought of as a school kid's howler will in fact be listed in dictionaries in 20 or 30 years' time as one of the correct meanings of it. So it's interesting. Our language is a living language. These kinds of changes happen, and we might actually be on the cusp of a change here with this one.
Right, a quick one. I want to fit in Eloise from Mooney Beach. She wants to know, are adverbs dead?
Oh, I hope not. Adverbs usually end with an ly. They qualify a verb. People are not saying it properly. They're saying she's a beauty, not she is beautiful. It's losing the ly and just saying the verb without the adverb properly is a mistake. It's because we haven't been teaching grammar in schools. We've got to get back to teaching grammar. There's a whole generation who wouldn't know an adverb if it bit them on the ankle.
I know, I almost had to have the parentheses there to explain, even if you know what an adverb is, before I can tell you whether they're dead or not. But anyway,
Yes.
got to leave it there. Kel Richards, see you next week. Thank you for your company as always.